Well, hello. It is nice to see everyone again. And of course, I really mean that it is nice for all of you to see me again since I can't see you. On your store search, a couple of guidelines. Number one, just doing Google is probably the worst thing you can do. And the reason why is that there is no quality control on the information out in the wild west of the web. For this class in particular, we're focusing narrowly on modern critical methods in biblical scholarship. And it's very difficult to find if a particular information from the internet is a good source or not just by Googling. A second reason is that most of the stuff that's available for free on Google or at a very low cost as part of a Bible software package, most of the resources available there are in the public domain. And of course, materials in the public domain are pretty old. Okay, and the authors are no longer living. So the resources that you might be able to access will be really, really old for this class. I want to emphasize, though, a lot of the old commentaries are very helpful depending on what you want to do. So Calvin, for example, or Luther or Augustine, there's a lot of really old commentaries out there for free. And they're useful if you want to do a history of interpretation of the Bible in a church history class, or if you're interested in preaching or applying it. It's very helpful to see how those before you in about 1,000, 2,000 years have applied those texts. So they're all very helpful. This class, however, by its focus on modern methods, will be looking at the work that's been done in the last 50 years, 100 years, okay? And so what that means is that most of the resources are copyrighted and hence will cost money to use. So for most of us, me included, we're dependent on the library for providing us with the resources. So very important for you to have handy the resources I sent to you last week on who the resource person is at the Harding Library, as well as the link that you can use to request material. And of course, you will notice how important it is to list yourself as a distant student as you request the material. So please do not hesitate to contact the resource person and contact me as well if you have any difficulties in getting the resources. According to the library, distant student taking online course had the privilege of having physical resources sent to you by mail, or to have portions of resources scanned and emailed to you. So that would not apply, though, to books that are in the reference section, such as dictionary and a lot of the commentary stuff. So a lot of your requests might just simply be a request for perhaps the discussion of your passage in a particular commentary set, or a request for a specific entry in a Bible dictionary, and to have that emailed to you. If you're requesting physical resource like a book or a commentary that can be mailed to you, you want to be very careful to ensure that you make those requests in advance and to know when those resources are coming in. Give a broad overview of the kind of resources that you will benefit from using for your paper. Okay, now the specific resources will depend on your topic, of course. The process what we think about in looking at a topic is to begin with the resources that provide you with a general overview of that topic. Okay, so that you want to get that bird's eye view. And then once you have that, and you might think in terms of a forest, you want to see the forest first, and then after you have that forest in mind, you can go down to resources that will give a narrow attention to an aspect of that forest, a particular grove of trees, if you will. So the best way to think about doing the forest first would be two resources. The first is Bible dictionaries, and I have a few examples I will show to you. You want to note that the terminology of a dictionary is specific to biblical study. So when we use the term dictionary in biblical study, what we really mean is what other disciplines would call an encyclopedia. Okay, so in biblical study, the dictionary is not listing meaning of words. It's like an encyclopedia. And you might ask, okay, well, what do we call a resource that defines words if it's not a dictionary? That is a great question. In our languages, it's typically called a lexicon. Okay, so there you go. We have a specific technical term, lexicon, for Greek or Hebrew. I've seen word book used. Okay, and sometimes you might have dictionaries used there. Okay, with that said, you have two kinds of dictionaries to look at. I suggest beginning first with a one-volume dictionary. Now this is an example of a one-volume dictionary that contains topics on the entire range of scholarship in smaller entries, and most of the entries may be just one column or one page. So this provides you with a brief overview of the entire topic, and then as you flip through, you can see how short the entries are. And I want to note a couple of things. First, these dictionaries in biblical studies are written by hundreds of biblical scholars, so you want to pay attention to the title of the entry, and at the bottom they will have the name of the person that wrote that specific entry. Okay, so in the bibliography to your paper, you will cite the entry, such as here I have Gabrielle. If you want to look up Gabrielle, like the angel, there's the entry. And then the author is Mark L. Strauss. So you would cite Strauss as the author, entry as Gabrielle, and then the resource is Eerdmans Dictionary of the Bible. And finally, there will be a bibliography at the end of most entries. And since the presentation is so concise, only the most important, most relevant resource will be listed in the bibliography. So that's a good quality control for you to help you identify the good resources. So a one-volume dictionary that's been published, I would say no more than 20 years would be a good bet. Eerdmans is one good example. Another good example is the HarperCollins one-volume dictionary of the Bible. Okay, so that's one way to get an overview of the one-volume dictionary. Now after that, then we have a massive multi-volume dictionary set. And for the longest time, the standard is the Anchor Bible Dictionary, and you can see this on the back here with the volumes in red. And the Anchor Bible Dictionary was the standard for well over about 25 years now. However, I highly recommend using a newer multi-volume dictionary, and it is called the New Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible in 5 volumes. And then you can look up entries related to your topic. You might have to bounce around and do some detective work. For example, in one of your projects is a study of the concept of Jesus as Word in the Gospel of John, and that's the Greek word logos. So you could look up L, which is in volume 3, for logos. But then when I look at it, it says in a cross-reference in the entry on logos, the Word instead. So it's telling me I need to find an entry with the title Word that will discuss logos. So I have to close volume 3, find the volume that has W, which is the 5th volume, S through Z, and then I open to where the entry has the word. And it is a long entry, but in the table of contents at the beginning, what catches my eyes is one topic of the word, which is listed with the letter D. The background and form of the prologue in John. And so here you have an entire discussion in a dictionary of the use of the logos word in John. And then toward the end you have a bibliography as well, and because this is a bigger dictionary, the bibliography is usually has more resources. But the principle is the same. Each entry in this dictionary is written by different scholars. So you want to cite the scholar and the entries in the dictionary, and you can list the volume numbers. I want to mention another kind of dictionary that I've found to be really, really helpful, and I think it's probably the go-to place for students in particular. These are the dictionary theories published by University Press, and here's an example. And here's one example. What's nice about this is that the volume in this series is dedicated to one portion of the Bible. In this case, this is the Dictionary of the Old Testament Historical Book. You have one on Pentateuch, another one on wisdom literature, another one on the prophets. And then in the New Testament, you have one on Jesus and the Gospels, one on Paul, and one on Revelation, apocalyptic literature. You also have another separate volume on the background to the New Testament. So I really recommend that you get the volume from University Press that covers the general area of your topic. And what's nice about this is it gives you a lot of information that is intended to introduce the subject to students for the first time, but from an academic perspective. So it will have articles usually on every reference in your section of the Bible. So every city mentioned in the historical book, every character, every custom, but then also articles on specific biblical approaches is covered here as well. Now the best way to find topics is in the very back. It has an articles index that you can look at and just scan through it to see if your topic is covered. And then I can see many different topics here. And these are actually pretty affordable, about maybe $30 if you want to buy a set yourself. So you might consider buying it yourself or asking your church, if you're employed, to buy it for you for the library. So those are the 3 different kinds of dictionary that I recommend. Now after the dictionary, another resource that can give you an overview but in a more specific way would be commentary. I do want to emphasize that the commentaries in this class that will be the most helpful to you will be commentaries written by scholars to an academic readership using the modern critical tools in the last 50 years, 100 years. So you are going to want a commentary. I recommend 2 or 3, but you're going to want commentary that's been published relatively recently, last 20 years, 30 years, not 100, 200 years, about 20 or 30 years in a scholarly context. And the reason why is that those commentaries will provide you with an overview of all the work that's been done in modern scholarship up to this point. So if you have any doubt of whether your commentary might be appropriate or not, just let me know. I've already heard from some of you asking if this or that commentary would work. I wanted to mention a couple of very well-known commentary theories that have their purpose in mind that might be helpful to you. Okay, so the first example is Anchor Bible Commentary Theory, and you might recognize the format in the library. New Testament is in red and the Old Testament is in blue, but it provides a scholarly overview of the book in question. So on Romans, for example, the best way to use it is to find your passage. So one of you is working on Romans 1, and so you might find a section on Romans 1 and then read through it. I will note that most commentaries have different sections. You might have a translation that has a comment on what the translation means, and then following that comment you have notes, and then you have exposition. So, and then a bibliography. So a lot of commentaries will have 3 or 4 sections, and a lot of times the topic is discussed more than once in each section. The notes might talk about the meaning of the Greek in that section, and then the explanation might talk about the interpretation of that passage in context of the book. So you want to be sure to take a look at every section in your commentary. And then at the end of that specific section, there's usually a helpful bibliography of that section, and there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, so Anchor Bible is a standard commentary series, but again, you want to make sure that it is published recently. There has been new volumes replacing older volumes in the theory, so you're going to want something that's been published in the last 15-20 years. There are volumes published in the 60s, 70s that are very dated and actually not the best resources, but the newer ones are very good. Another example of a commentary theory is Word Biblical Commentary Theory, and this would be characterized as broadly evangelical, while Anchor is broadly mainstream, but they're both are focused on modern scholarship interpretation. I really like the formatting of Word because it is very straightforward and very user-friendly. So each section in Word will begin with a translation, and then also begin with a bibliography. So that's really nice. So if you can find your passage in a Word commentary, there's a bibliography of articles focusing on that specific passage only, and you can look at the title, see if anything strikes your interest, and then you can search for that article using the title and article information. Following that, you have a translation, notes on the translation, notes on the form and structure, and then following that, you have comment. And then what distinguishes Word from Anchor is that following the comment that you have an explanation, and the explanation tends to focus on application for today. So you've got several sections here. So someone like Jordan might want to find the volume on Psalm and look up his Psalm 84 and find a section on form, and then see what it says about form. So be sure to look at each of the sections because your topic might be discussed more than once. I want to mention another kind of commentary that's very different, more narrow in focus, but I think would be very helpful for most of you. And this commentary series is called Zondervan Illustrated Bible Background commentary. And it's a series of books, about 5 or 6, that covers the entire Bible. The Old Testament has this color, a yellowish, sandy cover, about 4 or 5 volumes. The New Testament is blue, but the format is the same. Each volume covers a section of the Bible. Volume 1 is Genesis through Deuteronomy, the Pentateuch. And each book is written by a different author. But what I like about this is that the focus of this is entirely on background, which is all of the discovery in archaeology, discoveries of text, and everything in modern scholarship that helps us understand the text better is summarized here, all the important ones. And they give you nifty images of the text, of archaeological sites, and then a lot of sidebars that will describe customs and things like that. And then there's a very helpful bibliography as well here at the end of the chapter. So I highly recommend you finding where your passage is discussed in the commentary series, the Underwood Illustrated Bible Background Commentary Series. And again, for the bibliography, you want to cite only the author that wrote the commentary in this book. Okay, they'll have different authors. So cite the author, cite the book, and then cite this as well. Next, after getting the forage established through the dictionary and the commentary, you want to narrow down on your topic, and most of you already have a narrow view of your topic. And the sources that will help you the most would be articles that are focused on a very narrow topic. They will discuss it usually on 15, 20 pages or so. The articles typically come in 2 formats. In biblical studies, it's very common for articles to be collected into a book that's edited, and all the articles will focus on a topic. So it's actually considered like a chapter within a book. Okay, there are a lot of books that's devoted to methods, and then you have individual chapters written by different scholars that explain the method. Okay. Now, giving you a couple of examples here, this is Methods Matters and Methods of Biblical Interpretation, but as you open it and look at the table of contents, you'll see that each method is written by a different scholar that focuses on that method. Okay, so if you're doing form criticism, you've got a whole article on form criticism here. Okay, and so you might look for books that will have a article that discusses your method. And if you have a hard time finding it, ATLA, the search engine for biblical studies, when you search for a topic, will also provide you references to author chapters that are in a collection of books. But I have a lot of books like this in my office too, so if you need help, I'll be glad to work with you, so let me know. But in addition to articles appearing in books, articles also appear in what we call a journal. Okay, kind of like a magazine, what we call a periodical. It will be published usually quarterly, 4 times a year, some or 2, or 1 a year. So we call them journals. And so when someone writes an article, it is vetted for quality control by the editor, and usually with help from someone on the editorial team. And these are all established scholars in the field. And if they approve of the article, then it gets published. And this is an example of what it looks like if you have it sent to you. So it's like a book, but it's actually a periodical. And then on the table of contents, you can see the articles that are written here. Most of these articles, if you look at them, they will usually have an abstract and the abstract will summarize what the article is about. I suggest you look at the abstract to see if it might have relevance for your paper. It will save you a lot of time, so you don't have to read the entire article. So if your topic is Jeremiah, and some of you have noted that Jeremiah had different editions over time that has a different ordering of material. So this is an article that studies this topic, Jeremiah the collection, okay, and it talks about different textual arrangements of Jeremiah. But there's an abstract right here that you can read through and see if that's relevant for you. When you use the search engine ATLA, it should provide you with an abstract and a title, and you can see if it's worth getting. The article will be your main source of applying the specific approach to your topic, and just finding the right 2 or 3 or 4 articles generally will be all you need to help you in that paper. So, in my feedback to you, I will give you more specific feedback because everyone has different resources depending on your topic. But in general, you want to make sure that you might have some dictionary entry to give you that overview there. Now, 1 or 2 really good commentaries that's been published recently that will also give an overview of your passage and topics related to that passage. And then you want to find a few articles that directly address your topic. And then once you finalize that, you'll be ready to go. So please do not hesitate to send me questions or feedback, and I'll be glad to help you. Okay, so I would say adios for now.